Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 43, and today we are going to be playing the Elise Burn deck. And so I did just put out a video in the Gauntlet where we brought the three burn decks to the event. We of course won the Gauntlet, go us, but we were playing Darius Nar, we were playing Pirates, and then we were playing the Elise Burn deck. And I hadn't actually put together a deck guide for the Elise Burn deck, so I wanted to come out here and make one in case you were watching these things out of order. But it's also, a pretty fantastic deck for some other concerns. Like if you're new to the game, this is a very budget-friendly deck. We're only playing 4 champions, and you can most certainly get by without playing any. There's some fairly easy replacements. You can just replace Elise with Legion Grenadiers. You can place Darius with just another burn spell or a Frenzied Skitterer or an Armored Elephant or something. You can most certainly get by without playing any champions in this deck. We're not playing any epics as it is, and you can still be pretty successful. This is still one of the higher end decks of the meta, and you can get there without having the expensive cards. And so if you're new to the game, you don't have a big collection yet, but you still want to get out and do some ladder grinding, this is a pretty good place, a pretty good start. And then there's just we're about to be upcoming on a new patch, and so when the new, I think it's the 3.6 patch, where we're supposed to see a lot of champion reworks and some new cards for elites and new cards for reputation, as people are out there brewing and playing suboptimal deck lists. It's a fantastic time to come in and just beat them up with a tried and proven burn deck. And so if you're looking to push up into gold or platinum or diamond, wherever you're hanging out, and you need that little bit of edge to hit that ceiling to where you can't drop back down into the previous ranks, this will be a fantastic deck to play the first few days once that patch comes out. But nonetheless, those things aside, this is a fairly straightforward deck and how you want the gameplay to go. The first and foremost thing that you have to try and consider is that you want to be spending your first 6 mana on units. And I guess I should kind of clarify that. On turn 1, you'll have 1 mana, turn 2, you'll have 2, turn 3, you'll have 3. That adds up to 6. You want that first 3 turns of the game to all mana be spent on units. It starts to be bad if you don't have a 1-drop, if you have to make a decision as to where do I play this 2-drop on 2 or 2/2s on 2. However you're wanting to get those together, you do have to stop and decide, okay, can I spend all 6 of my mana in the first 3 turns? That's got to be the first and foremost thing that you're looking for whenever you make mulligans or when you keep a hand or the ordering that you can play your units. You have to be spending all of that mana in the first few turns of the game. The second thing that you're going to have to stop and consider, there's a lot of caveats and decisions and orderings in the order that you should play your units. If you're not sure what to do in any given situation, just take the path that deals the most damage. And so on turn 1, should we be playing Legion Rearguard or playing Precious Pet? If you really don't know, if you don't know how to go about it, or if you haven't been playing the game long and you're not sure what your opponent's going to be doing, just play the Legion Rearguard. It does the most damage, right? Kind of the same thing on turn 2. If we have the option to say play Legion Rearguard and Precious Pet, that is going to be 5 damage coming in. Or if we can play a House Spider, which is only going to be 3 damage, then we're going to want to play the Rearguard and the Precious Pet. Now, if you watched our previous Gauntlet video, you could see multiple situations where we had to stop and really consider the order we wanted to play our units. It's not just in tried and true as simple as that. I'm sure that a lot of people just be like, Darius playing the burn deck, there's no decisions there. That is 100% false and incorrect. A lot of these orderings are pivotal to what the outcome of the game will be, and these are really super high impact decisions. But if this is your first time picking up the deck, you're not super familiar with it, you don't know how you really want to go about it, then just go with the plan that gives you the most damage. And so you just say, well, I don't know what units my opponent's going to play. Maybe they're not going to play a unit whatsoever, and so just go the route that does the most damage. Otherwise, what you're really looking to kind of try and pull off is, you spent all that mana in the early game. The boards you're looking to build up are going to be spider boards, right? Specifically, spider boards with Fearsome. So if you take a quick peek, there's the Precious Pet, there's the Elise, there's the Arachnoid Horror. All of these units have Fearsome. You can use those in conjunction with the Frenzied Skitterer to make it harder for your opponent's units to block while making your units all stronger. And so the next kind of concept there in actually closing out the game is being a little bit protective of your spiders so that you can come in and get these big booms with the Frenzied Skitterer. And then, of course, at the end of the day, once you have spent all of your units, you've gotten to the point to where you're not going to be doing damage anymore through combat. That's the point where you go to the burn plan. And so you're looking towards your Decimates, your Nox and Fervors, your Doom Beasts, and your Imperial Demolitionists to actually come in and close out the game. But first and foremost, again, spend all your mana on your units as early as you can and get as much damage on the board as quickly as you can. That's going to get us. It's going to get us pretty far. And so that's it. We're ready for the burn deck. I did check and see if we'd pay the pay-to-win price. We have. The price has been paid. The entire deck is premium, 100% premium here today. That's what's going to hard carry us. It's not play skill. It's not matchups. It's just being purely premium out here. And all right, so reasonable enough start. We'll hang on to the 1 and the 2. Try to mulligan out again to find that perfect curve. And we did pick it up here. Looks pretty strong. Starting off with the Precious Pet. Easy peasy. Can't block me, bro. Can't block me. And so in terms of ordering your units, this is where you're going to start to run into the most problems is imagine we had another 1-drop in our hand. And so we would have to make the decision this turn. Do we want to play 2 1-drops? That's how we're going to get the most attack on board. But are we going to leave ourselves in a space on turn 3 where we can't spend all of our mana? And it didn't, quite fall out here, but that does happen quite frequently as to, well, if I play 2 1s here, I'm going to go into turn 3 and just have a single 2-drop and miss out on that point of mana, and that can start to be a bit of a problem. But here, that didn't quite fall out. I'm just going to go ahead and deploy the House Spider. The sequencing we're looking to pull off here is on our next turn. We want to play the Imperial Demolitionist. We're going to target the House Spider, and then we're going to have a choice, right? We're going to have an option as to whether or not we want to add a Precious Pet or if we want to be ready with the Mark of the Isles. And so if he comes in and plays like a 4 health unit, say plays a, I don't know, the 3/4 that for 3 that ticks down something, or if he plays Ziggs, there we go. We can be ready with the Mark of the Isles. Otherwise, if he plays a smaller unit, then we can just add in the Precious Pet. But there should be a trade for Ziggs, the Mark of the Isles, and the Imperial Demolitionist. Yep. All right, nice and empty board for our opponent. Get a three chunk in here, and we're building up to one of these big spider turns on our next attack. So looks pretty good. The other big thing that's about to happen to him is if he wanted to get a the 2/4 that blows up the landmark to make the rock bear, he's going to be short on units to do that, and so. Here, this is okay-ish. The Rockhopper is actually kind of problematic in that it can come in and trade down for one of our units, but I kept the Precious Pet for a couple of reasons. We might find ourselves in a space to where this just can't be blocked the next turn. Oh, cool! He doesn't go for it. We get to fierce him up through the Rockhopper. What he did, though, is a concept that we'll talk about on occasion. It doesn't happen too much with our deck. It happens with opposing decks, as to where we just filled out our board, right? And there's a very realistic chance this Decimate in our hand is another unit. And so if he's in a space to where he can't fill out his board, but we can fill out ours, then he doesn't actually want to make that trade on his turn. But here, he can't block any of our fearsomes, so he's going to be limited to blocking our rear guard and our spiderling. Coming in and hitting him for 12, we should just get the win with the Decimate next turn. This deck, this Talia Ziggs, doesn't usually play Rite of Negation, so we should be pretty safe with the Decimate. That is something to worry about on occasion. GG. Go ahead and put up the record marker. We'll go ahead and mark it a 1 and a 0. There you go. GG, Talia. Boop. Rip. Got him good. On to game 2. Such premium. God, I think the Decimate was the last premium card that we put together out of this. Feels so good to get those Decimate wins. Y'all remember when Decimate cost 4 mana? That used to be a thing. Decimate used to be a 4 mana spell. Okay, against the old Sun Disk. Sure. So what do we got here? This hand is a little problematic. We really need to find some ones. It's tough. I'm not the hugest fan of just like hard mulliganing away the whole hand. But if we don't find a one, we're really in a bind. And so we can like re-mulligan into, odd ones to where we pick up another Decimate and a Doom Beast. And it, is unfortunate when that happens, but I really want to find a one. Reasonable enough curve here. Our Bro Legion rearguard ready for battle. Okay, then we're not going to open. I'm going to play the House Spider. The only 2-drop that they play is going to be Rockhopper. So if he has a Rockhopper into our... Oh, I forgot about the Soothsayer. I was going to say, but if he has a Rockhopper into our rear guard, that's completely fine. The Soothsayer is even... It's not completely better. It is going to prevent 6 damage this game, but it leaves us in essentially the same space. Another House Spider.
My name will echo through the ages. The order is given.
Okay. No real reason to block here. We could put a House Spider in front of his Clockling, but that leaves him in the space next turn to where he gets to trade a Soothsayer for one of our smaller units. Like, ideally, he wouldn't be getting 2 good blocks out of that turn. But here, I think we're good to open. Adding Elise only gets 1 unit on the board instead of 2. And I may find ourselves playing the Stalking Shadows this turn. Doesn't look like we're going to need to. But we could... I kind of want to go ahead and just punch in this little bit of damage so that we can play Doom Beast. Otherwise, our hand is pretty awkward. Okay. We'll take him to 12. Doom Beast will take him to 10. And we'll be ready with the Elise and hopefully something else next turn. Slightly awkward with the double spell here, but I think we're fine. Yeah, Nox and Fervor was not a great draw. Looking for a 1-drop off of this one. The Onlookers is pretty awkward, but I think we can take the Skitterer here and then just go for a double Skitterer next turn. Should be able to make his whole board unable to block our Fearsomes. Okay. Where are we at here? Azir, 9 of 13. Zerath has only seen 1 landmark. Okay. Alright, Skitterer number 1. So he's going to be able to block our smaller units. It's okay. It's our spiders we're looking to punch through on this turn. Sure. So we do have like a bit of a decision here. I don't think we want to hit with our Doom Beast or our House Spider. It's like, I don't think we're ever going to get to like punch in any damage with them, and we do need targets for these Nox and Fervors. And so if he's like one of these Sun Disc decks that's actually playing Shaped Stone, then he might get us, or if he's playing Quicksand, he might be able to take these down. But without those, if we get to punch in this damage, it's going to be a pretty good turn. I didn't want this Endless Devout to flip out the unit. It's actually kind of nice though. He didn't kill the Skitterer, so we get another shot at this damage. This Elise will actually flip here. Okay. It's an unfortunate board, though. We can't punch through this fearsomes. It's like we can get in for 1 point of damage. Okay.
My true beauty.
Oh no, we won't even get the one unit off of the spiderling. So we should be able to. Well, it's kind of tough, right? If we want to, we can technically play the Legion Rearguard and maybe get a point of damage in. If he has another removal spell, it's going to be a problem. Since we'll be short a unit. Didn't have one. That's good.
I'll do better this time.
But yeah, we're going to end up losing our Elise. That's fine. So we've got to do one like this. We get in for 3 this way. Then we don't have to let him get the kills on our Doom Beast or our Arachnoid Horror. We can look to Nox and Fervor these away to prevent the landmark from coming on board. I'm kind of okay with that. Let's just drop the 1 for now. Not looking to be a pretty good, not a particularly good spot here. But that's okay. I want to hold on to this other one. If we draw like a Doom Beast, I want to be able to hit the Nightfall. Just a bit of a struggle turn here. He still needs his Zerath. Okay. We'll see if taking all that extra damage from the little Sun Disk dudes is going to be a problem. He's currently got 8 damage on board, and we only have the 1 blocker. But it doesn't look like he's going for it. He's going for the Zerath. Interesting.
Destiny calls. Your emperor commands.
Right, this only takes us to 1. Takes us to 2. Sure. Zerath at 2 of 4. Can we actually play the Saboteur here? This is okay.
No one's the wiser.
There's not like a real reason to keep his board completely clogged, given that he has the he already has the Azir flip.
We share.
Okay. Might have just barely squeezed this one out. He's a demolitionist. Okay.
Everything's in place. Behind ya. You are not welcome.
You are not welcome. So we might have enough here. Send it all to face. You can have the right of negation to stop a piece of it. I guess where it gets problematic is I can't quite tell, like if he has the... like once we start adding these demolitionists, if he can blow us up with Zerath. Why didn't our point of damage go through? He did have the burn spell. Oh my god. Let's see if we can get out of here before the video. We're gonna have to watch the whole video. Oh my god. Look at this. I'm sat here pushing surrender. Come on, Riot.
Power to shape the world at my fingertips.
Alright. I guess we technically shouldn't have surrendered. We could have played one Demolitionist and then hit it with a point of damage and then potentially hit something next turn, but I assume he's probably not going to just let that come out and happen. It's a spot where he's just going to be opening. I don't think there was a way around that. I guess we also had the option to play the Demolitionist first. That's going to blow up the Roiling Sands, which would then shoot our 2-1 that was dealing the point of damage. That was what I was really kind of worried about there. All right, big pile of 1-drops are ready to go. The Stygian Onlooker says it's a 1-drop, but it's not. This is like a turn 4, a turn 5 play. It's just so expensive. Against the old Caitlyn Swain, not the Ezreal Caitlyn that you more commonly see. This is going to be our bane. I'm so bad at playing against flashbang traps. I literally have the worst flashbang trap luck of anyone in the world. But here I'm going to go with Elise. Their common play is going to be Mystic Shot. And so if he has to come in and Thermogenic Beam Elise, that's fine. But they don't typically play Get Excited, so they don't have a ton of ways to just come in and take her down. Or if you come out and play Arachnoid Horror, you're kind of more likely to lose the unit. Thinking on it real hard. Said, Bust, you about to boom me with this Elise. I feel it. What you got? House Spider. Perfect. I did the mathematics on this one, and all of our units have Fearsome. So that's pretty sweet. Now, assuming he doesn't do anything, which is a very big assumption, then we can flip the Elise this turn. I don't think it's going to happen. The thing I would kind of hope we could pull off this turn is being able to drop a Crawling Sensations, which seems fairly legitimate now that he's dropped the stun onto Precious Pet, right? If he was going to, say he was going to play a Ravenous Flock, then why isn't he stunning our Elise? Okay. So we do get the flip. That's pretty cool.
Let me change into something more comfortable.
Amanda Skitterer. Oh man, this could realistically be one of these games to where he comes in with a burn spell and we just get to power through it with the Mark of the Isles. That would be pretty choice. All right, sad day. That was the worst possible outcome for us, was him having a second stun spider. Do we want to actually hook any of these smaller units? We can take them down in combat. I don't think so. I think we want to just come in for the big damage. Get him for 10. And then we still may get to punch through a Mystic Shot with this Mark of the Isles. Yep. So we hit him for 12, take him to 4. Opponent says, that's too much. That's too much for me, Bust. GG. All right, next battle. Oof. It's gotta feel bad playing like the Caitlyn deck and just losing to spiders. I mean, that's what got to be one of your premier matchups. Having it go poorly when it seems like everything's going right. Well, I guess that we'd be seeing in like a different story if we didn't lead with that like full fearsome opening and just got completely shut down by a house spider. I guess that could have been different. Okay. Against the old Rumble. With this, I'm not a huge fan of the Skitterer or the Demolitionist. We're going to be on the even attacks this time, and so it's kind of slow to get them going. I'm definitely getting rid of the Demolitionist, but I don't like hanging on to 3 drops. It's just so slow. There's our boy Rearguard. Say what up. Okay, and then same deal as the last game. This deck tends to play Mystic Shots. If he's going to have a Mystic Shot to take down a unit, I would prefer him to be shooting the Legion Rearguard as opposed to one of these full mana units like the Arachnoid Horror. Now, even if he comes out and plays something like a Rune Weaver, right, then something that can trade with Elise, then we're still getting the better end of the bargain. So, works out nicely. Probably not playing Rune Weavers here, but that's the common 3 attack unit you're going to see coming out of Noxus. Wow. Okay. It's like it's a little tough. I'll throw down the bot just in case he has like or throw down the house spider just in case he has some kind of inkling of attacking with ballistic bot. Like, I don't see it. I can't imagine that he comes in with that unit.
Let me get you that file.
Okay. He's just gonna send it back, losing out on the spell from the Archivist. Okay. Could have taken it down here. It's kind of tempting if we should put the Mark of the Isles in front of it. But I don't think we need to do that just yet. This will get us to full board, and we'll look to play Mark of the Isles. I just want to chunk in this like last bit of damage before we switch on to the burn plan. So we're going to lose our 3 units here in the middle. We come in for 4 damage. And then we can stop one of his value blocks with the Mark of the Isles, right? He's going to put the Station Archivist in front of Elise.
A missing piece?
Interesting. Are we going to get to just chunk in for 1 million damage? This is going to be another Mystic Shot play? It is. Okay. So we hit for 7. Lose our unit in the process, but get all those extra damages in. That's okay. Got 6 burn in hand. I think we have plenty of time to cruise through this one. So we're looking to Stalking Shadows, perhaps find a 1-drop, but probably just going to land on playing Doom Beast this turn. Okay, Victor, not something we care about. The double Doom Beast is, of course, strong, and that gives us all of the drains. But next turn, if we wanted to, we could go with the... I think I just want the Onlooker here. And then I'm going to play Doom Beast Onlooker and then open next turn. Let's play the Stygian Onlooker first, in case he has some kind of inkling that he's going to attack with Victor. And the Doom Beast. Mark of the Isles is pretty interesting. I think we can get our units down. They don't play things. It's not like they play like a True Shot Barrage style spell. I'm not like ultra familiar with whatever this guy's doing, but this gets us a bunch of extra damage here. Because the only way that this is bad is if he starts playing like House Spiders, things that give him 2 units instead of 1. Like picking up the Flame Chompers is pretty good for them. Okay, so we should be chunking in for a lethal. He blocks our 4 units to the right. We have 4 from Spiderlings and the Mark of the Isles.
We can take it. Maybe.
What's the motive?
I think we might have done it. We might have got there, boys. The worrisome thing here would be a Get Excited. But I mean, if he drops Get Excited on our onlooker, Whirling Death does the same thing. So let's just do this. Let's come in and kill whatever his most relevant unit is. So do we want to take down Victor or take down Rumble? We're going to want to take down Victor here. If he gets a spell shield, or not a spell shield, if he gets a life steal, he could still very realistically win this game. But with this one, we should be able to win with a Decimate now. Don't have to worry about Rumble. Rumble's never going to OTK us. Such premium coming at you. A block. Uh-oh. Oh my gosh, is he gonna OTK? He's gonna be short. Let's just no block so he can't play more cards. I don't think he ever has a way to win the game here, but you can't find yourself in a spot like that where they accidentally don't attack for enough damage and then you give them a chance to play more cards. Alright. Mark it a W. Oh, where'd my cursor at? Easy. Telling you though, man, these decks have a lot more decisions than people like to give them credit for. It's like, oh, you're playing Face Hunter, and it's like, well, I feel like we've had a lot of pretty reasonable decisions in all of these games, and I'm pretty confident that I haven't been playing them perfectly, and so you do get a lot of control deck nerds out there that think we're out here having the IQ battle. You can go see them make a post on Reddit about how they have a 150 IQ and they won the Mensa award or something, but you know, that's always my thing with these aggro decks in comparison to control decks. Is it's very, very realistic that if you play the wrong unit on the first turn of the game, you're just going to lose. But whereas there's a lot of flexibility in control decks and them to where if you like play the wrong card at the wrong time, then you're still just kind of okay. All of the cards are kind of similar. Uh-oh, though. This is bad. This is bad. This is the first time we've had it today where we hard mulligan for a 1-drop and completely missed. Hopefully we don't get punished too hard by the Jinx Draven. I mean, we do at least have a Mark of the Isles in our hand, so we'll get to kind of like return and spend this mana that we missed out on the first turn, but would definitely rather just have any of our 1-drop units. Elise is going unblocked. I'd say he'll prevent the other damage with the Flame Chompers. Nope, interesting. And he discards a Poro. I mean, we can just like blank him out of a ton of damage this turn. Getting to prevent 4 damage with the Frenzied Skitterer. Now, don't get too excited about blocking Dravens with the Mark of the Isles. He will quick attack down the unit and you're going to die because you're ephemeral. And so we're kind of stuck just taking this Draven hit here, but we can interact with his other cards. Okay. Not bad. Dude. Okay. Okay, sad noises.
For the Empire.
This is a little risky putting the damage onto Elise. If he has a Mystic Shot, he can take her down. But at least with his units on board, he can't block her without using a Spinning Axe. And so if he's going to use a Spinning Axe to get in front of her, he's going to be able to kill her anyways. And so I think this is fine. So it feels a little safer than leaving just the 1 damage on the Skitterer.
Strike at their foundations. We could use a bite.
Here comes the full board. So what we need to like stop and consider with this hand is basically how do we kill him with Darius, right? If we can get him down to like 10 now, then that's a pretty big deal. Otherwise, we don't want to like be in a spot to where we have to play a Decimate and a Darius. Ideally, we'll be able to play Darius on our opponent's turn and then just open with him. But all depends on what they drop on us.
Time for the money.
He's just going for board clears. I think this is pretty good. So at the end of the day, he takes 0 damage. He has a Flame Chompers, and we have a 2/3. How do we feel about coming up with a way to take down Draven? So I kind of like letting him keep this Daring Poro and then trying to take down the Draven. But like this does kind of feel like one of these draws to where he's just drawn multiple Dravens. And so it's like if we go for the Nox and Fervor and he has a Whirling Axe, it's pretty bad for us. I think we're just stuck letting this happen. But I do feel fairly confident that his next play is just going to be like, hey, here's Draven. Okay. Something. No. It's a dude. It's a dude, I guess. That's a bad one. He only has one, like, great hook here.
I have my
Fun.
I guess we're really doing this.
It's gonna... Yes. We have to block out here to the left. Let's go ahead and take down this Flame Chompers. I think like, we're gonna struggle to find a good spot to use this Mark of the Isles. Well... I guess. Well, we're losing all of our units is the problem. Trying to piece together this way that our Darius gets to flip before the next combat. And it's just not going to happen. We don't have the mana to pull it off. I think our mistake here this game was actually playing this Legion Saboteur. Because if we just held it, then we could have gotten a Draven flip or a Darius flip next turn in the middle of combat. And now we're going to get punished for that. Fuck. Okay. Right, so it's like we would be taking an extra, like, we'd be taking an extra 2 damage. He would still have his Battlecaster on the board, but we could now play Decimate on this turn. This would take him to 11. And then on our next turn, we could attack with the Saboteur, get in that point of damage. Darius would flip in the middle of combat. We could Mark of the Isles Darius, then have a Nox and Fervor for later. Now we're just short of all of that every way possible.
Is the hand of Noxus.
But we might be able to do a double Mark of the Isles onto Darius. And then see if we can't find an angle with a Nox and Fervor. Okay, he just takes the damage. So we lose out on that angle now. 4, 5, 6, 7. Discarded Augmented Experimenter. This is like 9 damage coming at us. May need to look at playing Nox and Fervor onto Jinx. I think we have to. We're going to fall to 2. That's way too low. Okay. Feel decent-ish at 6.
I don't bite.
Crowd favorite, okay. Okay, we might have got there. The scary thing with crowd favorites him being able to Whirling Death us. All right. So yeah, we still dug our way out of that one. I think that would have been the way to go. It was just don't play the Legion Saboteur, and then use that to guarantee the point of damage to get the Darius flip in. The Darius flip would be lethal almost all the time. And then even if it's not going to be lethal, then putting a double Mark of the Isles on him should have gotten him pretty close, and then we would still have that like backup Nox and Fervor in hand, which we wouldn't have had any targets to cast it on, right? If we're like following this grand sequence, we would lose our what do you call it? We lose our Legion Saboteur in the middle of combat, but it's okay. Here, I really don't like hanging on to these Stygian onlookers, but I don't think we can risk not having a 1-drop. So this is a bit of a turd of a draw. Precious Pet here to save the day. Appreciate it, my dude.
I'll shoot the wings off of those ones.
Appreciate it. Alright, let's hydrate before we get too far into this.
Hello, new best friend.
Alright, Mirai Warden's pretty strong here, but the House Spider answers perfectly with the weaker Plucky Poro turning up. Cool. Now, cheap dude. Cheap dude. Cheap enough.
For the Empire.
Gotta get these big booms in while we can. This is like the best blocking misfortune that you can ever have, but I think we still need to come and slam into this. Probably leave the little spider back. It doesn't do enough. But everybody else can come in.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Wasn't how I expected these blocks to come down, but it makes sense if he's wanting to get the fearsome off of the board.
My kind of party.
More along the lines of what I was expecting. It's just they typically play 3 copies of Misfortune and 2 copies of Make It Rain, and Make It Rain is quite good on these boards, as you can imagine, facing down a board full of 1-drops. Actual perfect draw in the Legion Rearguard. Doesn't say I was going to be happy with like anything that we could just put on the board, but hitting the Doom Beast activator is pretty choice. Alright, so you're the only blocker we have. I think it's probably worth it just to get the Misfortune off of the board. And then this does let us attack with our Precious Pet next turn. Does that take us to 9? So the angle we would have to win this game is dealing 2 with Precious Pet, 2 with Doom Beast, 4 with Decimate. That gets us to 8. Okay. We can come in and try and block next turn. The only overwhelm we should have to worry about is Gangplank. And you typically play either 0 or 1 copies of Gangplank. And so he is playing at least 1 copy. We get that 2 damage in. Excellent. And so the sequencing here is I'm going to play the Saboteur and the Doom Beast. This does a couple of things. It gets us this 2 points of health. And then if he doesn't open next turn, it gives us the opportunity to just dome him with Doom Beast. As to where if we try and go for the Saboteur Doom Beast next turn, then he's going to get more opportunities to add cards and do stuff. Okay, it's 1 on his Make It Rain. Looks good.
Got us covered.
Just blocking the biggest units. Don't care. This decimates all that matters in this game. So he's going to need a double Noxus Blast to take this one down. Not unreasonable for him to have 1. He did play Zap, but he probably picked up the Make It Rain off of Zap. Cool. Well done, team. Well done. All the victories. Gonna have that positive win rate on the day. Feels good, Burn Deck. We appreciate the things you do for us. Very nice and kind of you. Had a nice variety of decks today as well. We didn't just play like the Sun Disk 4 times. I feel like in the last gameplay video we did, we played the Sun Disk like half of the games. This was definitely not in the prime of it seeing play. Speaking of the devil, though. Okay, reasonable enough start. I'm not the hugest fan of hanging on to this Mark of the Isles, but it's like when we run into things like Soothsayer, then it sounds like pretty good to take it down with Mark of the Isles, but I think we should just get rid of it and look for units. Okay. So yeah, Soothsayer will be slightly problematic with the Saboteur, but getting this big board early is always nice. And it should be one of these situations as well, is like we play the rear guard this turn, next turn we open with the Precious Pet, and then if he plays the Soothsayer, we can just choose to not play the Saboteur. But not gonna open here. If he has a Ruin Runner, I'm happy enough to trade it. Ruin Runner. I keep... This guy's like forever Ruin Runner to me. Sorry, Rockhopper. We'll get your name right one day. Interesting. He blocks the lowest damage output unit. I mean, I could see him playing a 3-3 next turn and then using the 3-3 to value hook on our 2-1, which would be unfortunate. Same thing applies to Soothsayer, but we're good with the Mark of the Isles now. Let's go ahead and get that dum-dum off of the board. I prefer it to be something, you know, chunking through with the damage. It's much better with Mark of the Isles when you're powering through a Mystic Shot, but just taking what we can. Ew. Ew. Oh, wow. At least we didn't completely whiff. I was wanting to see if we'd hit a 1-drop before we come in, but looks like we're on the Doom Beast plan. Looks like we're on the Doom Beast plan. Okay, what up, Xerath? Yeah, this is awkward. This is awkward. Maybe he'll attack. That would actually be kind of nice if he attacked. I think that might be a worthwhile Mark of the Isles. Alright, Darius, you gotta do something, my dude. We don't need a lethal out of him, we just need to chunk in the damage. Very, very odd seeing them just drop the Preservarium. Quicksand is fine. And an Hourglass. Okay. So we get in for a point of damage. Does he flip into having Overwhelm? Even with the Quicksand on? I was like, if you're watching the animation when he was making the spinnies, it said Overwhelm on the card. I was like, oh man, this is going to be sweet. But not quite, not quite. Still feels like at least it's in a decent spot. He's got to do a lot of work to get the Xerath cruising through. Well, not a ton of work, right? These Preservariums are going to be a bit problematic. But we got 9 burn in hand now. Okay. So the House Spiderlings can come in and eat some of these targets. I think that's who we want to start with. We can double House Spider and play a Doom Beast. So now we got 2 dudes on board to eat these. Oh, are you gonna have a blow up a landmark thing? That's kind of lame. The 4 damage landmarky thing. That sounds like something a lame person would do. All right. Ancient Hourglass. All right, we deal with that reasonably, right? We get to keep our Darius after this. He blows up 3 landmarks. It's our 3 small units, so Darius is still around. So he's make him have the other quicksand now.
Noxus will rise. I will unmake you.
Okay, GG. I believe we've done it, people. So I'm going to play these Doom Beasts here. If he's going to have a Rite of Negation, I want him to use it on the cheaper card. Okay. So if we'd gone with the Decimate, then our turn would be done. But now that we use the Doom Beasts, we have the 2 burn spells instead of the 1. GG. All right, 6-1 going into the final battle. I think that's the. Can't remember if we finished off one of these videos with 6 wins. I know we've definitely not done 8. I don't think we've done 7 either. Tell you, it's a real deal. People, it's like such an odd space with these decks to where like Scouts has been so good for so long. The Elise Burn deck has been good since about the same time. Whenever the Bilgewater set came out, it's very odd when these decks aren't good, but people don't really play them anymore. I mean, I understand not wanting to play the same deck over and over again for a year, but I don't feel like the play rate matches the win rate quite as much as it should. But all right, going into our final battle, we'll hang on to our 1-drop, look for some other cheap plays. Let's see how we do. Got the big spider draw this time. No precious pet to go with it, but pretty powerful stuff.
I have my orders.
Got that Omen Hawk? Is this an Omen Hawk deck? I think Sejuani Gangplank usually plays them.
Nothing like the stink of
All right.
blood and sweat. Say your farewell.
Not as bad. Just getting we get the best of this. I feel like when they play the Omen Hawk, they get the best of it with the unit growth on top of their deck, especially when we're about to just drop a bunch of fearsomes on them. Interesting. God, this precious pet would have been so good.
When my song ends,
Now he Tusk Speakers, so we'll need to House Spider. So if he attacks, we can block and still have a unit on board, ready to go with the Frenzied Skitterer at some point. Thinking real hard on this. I wonder if he has like a Troll Chant in hand. As Evo, the problem with Troll Chant is he can't play a unit and Troll Chant next turn. I guess he'd play a 1-drop and Troll Chant, but the way a lot of these Tusk Speaker based decks like to do is you play a 2-drop on 2, a 2-drop on 3, and then you have the Troll Chant mana ready to go to protect your two units. But doesn't seem like it's happening here. I'm curious what he drops. Like, I don't want to get like overly aggressive on this board, given that we have the Frenzied Skitterer in hand. Not used to seeing Fortune Croaker though. That's weird to me. Okay, so he's gonna put the 3/2 in front of the Horror, the 2/2 in front of our House Spider. We only get in for 2 damage. Not awesome, but I think it's fine. I don't like attacking with the one cost unit here, because he's just like preventing 1 point of damage by blocking the smaller one, and then he still has a good blocker for the Spiderling next turn. This is a bit of a disaster board though now. Okay. Going with the House Spider, this is going to be our last chance to get a big chunk of Frenzied Skitterer damage in. So it's unfortunate for the Onlooker. I was kind of like half considering playing the Onlooker last turn, but we did just draw perfect in the Skitterer, so I don't think we end up playing them too frequently. Drawing all of our cards, my dude. So he gets the good 2-2 onto our 3-2. We should be chunking in for 6, and then probably killing his other units. So we get to drop him to 10. Not happy about it, but you know, it just has to be good enough.
Why are you here?
It's going to be the Troll Chance. Nox and Fervor. I don't really approve of that. Okay. It's not great, but we get to keep our damage on board now, and then potentially get some more Skitterer damage in on the next turn. I feel like this one has probably slipped away from us, but I don't envision us ever winning if this Skitterer dies. It's like if he only falls to 13 and we're counting on these Nox and Fervors to deal enough damage, I think that's just going to be too short. I don't know what he's thinking on with this 1 mana. If he's got like Elixir of Irons or something weird in this deck, or maybe he dropped his phone in the toilet. The possibilities are endless. Okay. Got him to 10. We do have this big set of fearsomes though. We get to kind of ignore the Legion Saboteurs with the incoming damage sources we have. Ew, awkward.
Pain is nothing.
Okay.
They'll never
So he's gonna hook our... Oh, he doesn't Sejuani hook it. I guess that makes sense. But we get to try and send a 3 damage to face now. The Doom Beast will take him to 5. And then if we draw a cheap play next turn, we might get to chunk in a fearsome damage. Sejuani's nowhere near flipping. That was a slightly scary moment. Really want to chunk in a point of damage here. Looks like we might be able to. Like if we can get him to 3, then that's manageable. Fuck. Fuck. Okay. So now it's like we're kind of stuck needing to draw needing to draw the card draw thing, Stalking Shadows. That's kind of like our best bet at getting to chunk in multiple damages. Right. Demolitionist does a bit of work. It ain't over just yet.
in position. Behind ya.
So we lose all of our units this way. Are we at real risk of dying here? It's like I kind of want to keep a unit back just to target with the Demolitionist. This way we fall to 2. That's too much. I won't fall to where we die to a Fury of the North.
Forged by wind.
So probably done. We're gonna have to like draw a unit that we can hit with the Demolitionist, and then going into the next turn, we're gonna need to draw Noxus Blast. And so we still have like options here, but not great ones. Not great ones. Not over though. Hey, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how we do it now. Okay, GG. But anyways, not a bad set of runs. Not a bad collection of games. Good 75% win rate on the day. Climbing up a little bit through the Masters, picked up like 60 LP, and that's the burn deck. And so, yeah, I mean, again, like there is a bit of play that you can do with the numbers. If you're facing a lot of Mystic Shot based decks, then you probably want the Mark of the Isles. I'm a bigger fan of keeping the big full fearsome package in here. I understand the argument for playing Darius or not playing him. We didn't play him in our previous Gauntlet video. It's just a little bit more all-in aggression that we were taking out there. But again, there are some numbers that you can kind of come in and tweak. But again, it's a very real deck. Lots of power coming out of this. It's still very good. Like I said, with this and the likes of Pirates and Scouts, those were decks that all really kind of came into fruition with the Bandle City set, the Beyond the Bilgewater, or whatever that was called. And I think people are just kind of tired of playing it. And so I think that their win rates don't really match up to the play rate as it should, and that's fine. But it's just something that for you to potentially go out and take advantage of. And again, if you're new to the game, you don't have a lot of champions, or if you have like one Elise and a wild card and you don't want to spend it, that's completely fine, right? Elise is better than Legion Grenadier. She plays into these frenzied skitterer kind of themes, but if you've been playing the game for a couple weeks and you really like Targon and you've been crafting those cards and not crafting your releases, I get it. And this is a deck that you can, reasonably and budget friendly take out here and have some reasonable success on the ladder with as well. But nonetheless, that is going to do it for us today. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. You maybe learned how to burn the spiders a little bit better. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way. Had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.